President Trump in Pennsylvania overnight touting his economic agenda in his first time on the trail in 5 months.
I have no higher priority than making America affordable again.
The president facing growing dissatisfaction with his handling of the economy, focusing on affordability, which he's called a Democratic hoax.
You know, they always have a hoax. The new word is affordability. I can't say affordability hoax because I agree the prices were too high.
Test driving a new message to voters ahead of next year's critical midterms.
You're getting lower prices, bigger paychecks.
But while wages have ticked up, so have prices, especially at grocery stores where staples like beef and orange juice are up. Last night, the president also occasionally straying from his economic message.
I haven't read practically anything off the stupid teleprompter.
And focusing on immigration, referring to highly publicized remarks from an Oval Office meeting during his first term.
Remember, I said that to the senators, and we had a meeting. And I say, why is it we only take people from whole countries, right? Why can't we have some people from Norway, Sweden? But we always take people from Somalia, places that are a disaster, right? Filthy, dirty, disgusting.
But overnight, another sign of headwinds for the president's party, with NBC News projecting Miami has elected its first Democratic mayor in nearly 3 decades. Eileen Higgins securing a landslide victory over her Republican rival, Emilio Gonzalez, who was endorsed by President Trump in a race that was largely centered on the topic of affordability. And in that speech last night, President Trump said his chief of staff told him that he needs to start hitting the campaign trail again to try to motivate MAGA voters, a move that may help reinvigorate his base, but one that Democrats are already welcoming, confident that if next year's midterms are viewed as a referendum on President Trump, it'll drive up their voters to the polls as well. Savannah and Craig.
All right, Peter, I'll grab it. Thank you. Those growing concerns over affordability and consumer prices are playing out as the Federal Reserve is now just hours away from announcing its next move on interest rates. NBC's senior business correspondent Christine Romans is here with us in Washington waiting for that.
That's right.
Let's talk about what the president said last night, acknowledging that affordability is a real issue. He's also said prices are coming down tremendously and that they're crushing inflation. What's the reality check? Bearing in mind that Americans can do their own fact check. They're the ones going to the grocery store and buying things. They know if prices are up or down.
Yeah, and it's not just groceries. It's utilities. It's car insurance. I mean, over the past 5 years, since February 2020, before COVID, some of these things are up double digits, 20, 30, 40%. Look at those numbers, especially like auto insurance. Some of these things are non-negotiables in the family budget, so people really are feeling that. The president talking about how gas prices are lower, that is true. Talking about how cereal and ham and some single products are a little bit lower. But overall, I think, zoom out, it's the past 5 years of these price issues. And the CPI, the inflation rate at 3% right now, it's exactly where it was at the end of the Biden administration.
So into all of this, the Federal Reserve enters the chat, has been in a series of interest rate cuts. And it's, as always, the question is, will there be further cuts? The Fed concerned about inflation, but also the unemployment picture.
That's right. And the Fed has to balance that. It has 2 jobs: to make sure that people are fully employed, the economy is fully employed, and to make sure that prices aren't too high. So we think the Fed might cut rates here today to support the job market, to support the economy a little bit, but it has to be careful because if you start cutting rates, you could fan inflation again. So that is the tightrope that the Fed is walking, but we do expect maybe a 1/4 point rate cut today. And that would mean lower borrowing costs on mortgages, on car loans, and a lot of things that American households use.
All right, Christine Romans right here in Washington, where the action is today. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC or take Today when you're on the go. Just follow the Today podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.